Picture this. The exact same doctor who is saving a life in an emergency room today could be meticulously planning a precision terror attack for tomorrow. I know, it sounds like a movie plot, but it's a terrifying paradox we are facing right now. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to decode a massive, chilling shift in national security, the invisible threat of white-collar terrorism. We really have to ask ourselves, what happens when highly educated professionals use their elite skills not to build society up, but to tear it down? You see, for decades, we've kind of just coasted on this comforting assumption that higher education and a solid, well-paying job automatically shield someone from radicalization. We thought, if someone has a degree and a comfortable salary, there's no way they'd turn to extremism. But the data and some very recent real-world events are telling us a completely different story. So, here is our strategic roadmap for unpacking this. We'll start with the rise of white-collar terror, then look at the drivers behind digital radicalization, explore the anatomy of the threat itself, uncover the blind spots in our current counterterrorism efforts, examine how these decentralized networks operate, and finally, bring it all together with a master recap. Let's dive right into the rise of white-collar terror and really understand this paradigm shift in security. So what exactly are we dealing with here? White-collar terrorists are highly educated professionals who actively weaponize their pristine social standing. They use their legitimate income and their advanced education to covertly facilitate or execute attacks. Essentially, they use their successful careers as the ultimate camouflage. A really stark example of this was the Red Fort blast in India. That investigation blew the lid off a sophisticated network of educated individuals, including actual practicing medical professionals who were deeply embedded in extremist activities. Now, let's look at the drivers of digital radicalization. We absolutely need to understand the why behind this transformation. Think of this process as a highly structured pipeline. It almost always kicks off with step one, a perceived grievance. This could be a deep feeling of social or religious alienation. Then comes step two, which is digital isolation. These individuals retreat into encrypted apps, cutting themselves off from everyday moderate voices. That leads straight into step three, the online echo chambers, where extreme narratives are bounced around and amplified. And finally, step four, total self-radicalization. The scary part, this is driven entirely by ideology consumed on a smartphone, completely detached from the traditional trigger of poverty. Moving to the anatomy of the threat, let's break down the what and the highly specialized methods these individuals bring to the table. The reality is, extremist networks highly prize these professionals because their advanced degrees are essentially lethal weapons. Think about it. An IT specialist has the access to exploit sensitive infrastructure. An engineer can calculate and execute precision attacks using industrial-grade explosives. Medical professionals could literally manufacture deadly chemical agents like ricin in a lab. Or tech-savvy individuals might orchestrate drone-enabled arms drops. They aren't just foot soldiers. They are applying high-level specialized knowledge to maximize devastation. And this brings us to a frankly chilling reality about insider threats. Places like hospitals, research laboratories, universities, they are fundamentally designed to be open, trusting, and collaborative environments. But unfortunately, that exact openness means their institutional vigilance is naturally weak. It creates the perfect, undetected operational playground for an embedded professional to exploit internal vulnerabilities right under our noses. Let's transition to the blind spots in counterterrorism. Why are the traditional intelligence methods hitting a wall? If you compare the old model with our new reality, the gaps become glaringly obvious. Traditional counterterrorism relies heavily on tracking known conflict hotspots, illicit hawala funding, and highly visible militant profiles. But white-collar operatives, they thrive in the natural anonymity of massive metropolitan cities. They don't have criminal records. In the intelligence community, they're called cleanskins. People moving completely in plain sight, fully backed by the credibility of a respectable profession. And that legitimate professional income, that creates an enormous financial blind spot. Because these cleanskins are self-funding their operations using their own high-paying salaries, they completely bypass traditional financial surveillance. There are no suspicious illicit transfers to flag, no sketchy extortion money. It's just regular, everyday bank accounts funding terror in the dark. Now, let's explore decentralized networks to understand exactly how modern terror organizes itself today. The magic, or really the tragic, number here is 3 to 7. The entire organizational playbook has been rewritten. They've totally abandoned massive, sprawling hierarchies. Instead, The new structural pattern involves highly adaptive autonomous groups made up of just 3 to 7 people per microcell. When you map out this evolution, the true scope of the challenge hits you. In the past, terror networks were centralized. They had a cross-border HQ, meaning if you took out the top leadership, the whole network usually crumbled. But today, the threat is completely decentralized into these autonomous cells of 3 to 7 people. It makes the network incredibly resilient. Even if intelligence agencies bust one cell, a completely disconnected second or third cell is still fully capable of striking.
All right, let's pull all of this together with a master recap and takeaways to look at the future of this threat.
Make sure you lock in these 5 key takeaways for your analytical toolkit. Number 1, we now know for sure that education and wealth do not prevent radicalization. 2, these operatives act as clean skins, perfectly using their pristine professional lives as cover. 3, because their financing is self-funded, it creates massive intelligence blind spots. 4, the radicalization process happens entirely digitally, inside isolated, encrypted echo chambers. And 5, the threat is highly resilient because it relies on decentralized microcells of just 3 to 7 people. Which brings us to the ultimate overarching challenge. If the very people building our digital infrastructure, treating our sick, and engineering our cities are potentially weaponizing their elite access, how must intelligence agencies evolve to track threats that are literally hiding in plain sight? The old tripwires just aren't working anymore. I'm going to leave you with that provocative thought to ponder regarding the future of national security and institutional vigilance. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious and keep analyzing the world around you.